Hi everyone, my name is Kimmy and I'm one of our vocal trainers here at Hillsong College.
And I'm Lara and I'm an IVA certified vocal coach.
Awesome. All right, well Lara, talk to us. What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about vocal health and strength and everything that means.
Okay, awesome. Maybe we should start at the very beginning. Can you please tell me what is balanced singing?
Yes, so I love to refer to balanced singing as 12 o'clock on the clock, and that is what all of us should be aiming to find in our voices every single day. So that's the healthiest place that we can train from, the healthiest place that we can sing from. However, often when we sing other types of songs or other genres, it means that we're somewhere else on the clock. So pop music might be at 3 o'clock. Our Christian contemporary music might be at 6 o'clock, and that means that our voice is functioning in a different way. And balanced singing is understanding how far away am I from 12 o'clock and what do I need to do to get back there before and after I sing on the stage.
Okay, wow. Okay, question. How do you even know if you're at 12 o'clock? What is even 12? What does that mean?
Yeah, so every voice is made up of 2 registers. We all have a chest voice and we all have a head voice. And balanced singing is learning how to negotiate both of them. We must use both of them. We can't only ever stay in one register and expect that our voice will last a really long time or that it will feel really good for a long time. So we need to understand that we have 2 registers, we must use them, and we must learn how to use them really effectively. And that's where other things come into play about lessons and what that means for every individual type of voice.
Awesome. So it's like navigating, using that balance wherever you're at on the clock, or getting back to the 12 o'clock balance.
Getting back to 12 o'clock because singing other genres will remove you from good balance. And that's normal. We just need to know how far away we are so we can get back and not do it for too long.
Awesome. Okay, wow, this is incredible. All right, so what would you say is something we need to do in order to master technique, a vocal technique?
Well, number 1 is lessons and understanding your voice.
Absolutely.
But number 2, mastering technique is only so that we have full expression. So the whole goal of what we do as singers is to express ourselves and to be great communicators. So we can't be great communicators, though, if we don't have effective function of all of our voice. We need to know how to use all of our voice to have great expression. So part of mastering technique is that process. How do I gain control over every area of my voice so that I can express myself fully and wholeheartedly every time I sing without any limitations? So there are processes involved in that, and I'm sure we're about to talk about that.
Awesome. Okay, very, very cool. Okay, so when it comes to owning your own vocal space, you mentioned jazz and you mentioned pop and the genres that we can kind of lend our voice to. I know, just from my own experience, many vocalists, we love to sing, so we sing along like on the radio, Taylor Swift, whoop, whoever, sorry, maybe not, I actually never sing her songs, but whoever we're singing to, we can try and like make our voice sound exactly like that person, right? So we can maybe try and make it sound like this genre or that genre. So how do you actually, is that healthy, number 1? Trying to mimic other voices, and 2, like, what do you actually do to own your own vocal space? Like, what if, is it bad if like you actually can never sound like that person? Is there something wrong with you? Does that make sense? Like, how do you know what your vocal space is and how do you like own that?
Yeah, well, that's a really great question and a big one. So most of what I deal with in my studio in teaching students is helping them understand this is your voice, this is what kind of tenor or what kind of soprano you are. This means that you have access to this much range in this way. This means that you can be this heavy in this section of your voice or this light in this section of your voice. But ultimately it all comes from 12 o'clock. So what's the word? The 12 o'clock in our voice is where we find the very best tone, the very best flexibility and the best strength that we can have. If we understand what that means, then owning our space becomes a whole lot easier. But often we just need a little bit of help to know what that even means for our particular voice. Because obviously a higher soprano will have a lighter voice and a heavier tenor will have a heavier voice, which means certain things for the range of the songs they're singing and what they're trying to do. You don't sound like anybody else and nobody sounds like you. So owning your vocal space is understanding completely what kind of voice you are, what will it be really great at, and where will you sound the best. And then that all comes from finding your baseline or your home base, which is 12 o'clock.
Okay, so question for you. When it comes to that, do you find that so many people get as vocalists, we can get insecure because we hear some of our favorite vocalists or some of our favorite worship leaders or whoever, and we can't sound like them. And so then we can be hard on ourselves, or we can think, oh, actually my voice doesn't fit anywhere, or like, why try? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, people can get so discouraged with the identity of their voice because it doesn't have a certain sound. So could you maybe encourage people when it comes to like owning that? I feel like there's so much freedom found in actually getting to know your voice. Because it gives you the freedom to know where you can grow and not box yourself into what someone else's voice sounds like. Does that make sense?
It
so
does.
Like, what's your encouragement as like a certified IVA trainer? Like, what is your encouragement to people when it comes to finding their own voice?
Well, firstly, nobody else can tell your story like your own voice can. So we've all had life experience, and only we can express that through our own voice in the purest way possible. So everyone has their own voice, and it's never going to work if you try and sound like somebody else, because then you forfeit your own story. In a sense, you know, you forfeit your own sense of power, and you forfeit your own sense of engagement or emotional connection with what you're actually trying to sing, because you've automatically limited yourself. So my encouragement would be take the limits off by understanding what your voice is, what it naturally does really well, how it naturally feels really good, and then start telling your own story through your own voice by choosing songs that express exactly what you want to say.
Wow, how cool is that? I feel like it's so freeing. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Another question for you. We talked a little bit earlier about responsibility and how everyone's voice, like what do you have to say in terms of responsibility? We all have a voice, you've talked about, only we can express that and have the freedom to tell our story through it. So when it comes to responsibility, does that just naturally happen? Like, can you speak into that a bit?
So nobody can exercise your voice. So I can't remove your voice from your body and exercise it for you.
Please, take it, I'm joking.
But you can walk into a lesson and have accountability that way. But there are no shortcuts to vocal training. If you're having a problem with anything relating to how your voice is working or what you're feeling when you sing, there's no shortcuts to dealing with that problem. You just have to go through it, and you have to deal with it, and you have to grow through it, and you have to develop through it. But the good news is it's completely possible. So there have been exercises developed that address all of the issues, or most of them for the most part, that address those things that singers deal with and really try and find the balance so that you don't feel like you need to sing like somebody else. You're actually okay with your own voice. Or so that you don't feel like you have limits or you're having problems. But I think once you understand the keys, then that is exciting. And you are motivated to take responsibility for your voice. But it's not going to happen once a week. It's not going to happen, you know, once a fortnight, or hey, I'm rusted on and that's going to help me sing better. And, you know, it's not going to happen that way. There needs to be a private practice space that develops the singer through these issues.
So the discipline comes 100%. 100%. Okay, awesome. Okay, this will be my last question for you. You did mention exercises and vocal exercises. Can you just speak a little bit into what they are and why or how they work? Just briefly.
So there have been vocal exercises developed that are based on the effect of consonants and vowels and how those shapes affect the position of the larynx or the resonance space or the muscle or the airflow. So our voice is a muscle and air travels through it. So if we can really understand how certain shapes, or how we shape our mouth, or the strength of the consonant that we use, how those things affect each individual voice, you can use different tools and develop a toolkit that actually addresses all of the issues that you're having. So every singer will either need more muscle or more airflow, or less muscle or less airflow. And then the principle is you work on amounts of resistance by using different vowels and consonants that affect all of those different things.
Awesome. I feel like this is something we could talk about for so long. That's going to be it for us for right now. So we thank you guys for joining us. We really hope you found this helpful today. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.